You know, in the hotel business, there's a quiet revolution going on. It's not happening at the front desk or in the restaurant, but deep in the operational heart of the building. We're making a massive shift from just reacting to problems to a future where we can actually predict and prevent them before they ever happen. Let's dig into how.
Hello, everyone. I'm an AI expert specializing in hotel operations, and it's a real pleasure to welcome all of you from the Europe Hotel School. My goal here is simple: to support your professional journey by exploring the cutting-edge tech that's reshaping our industry from the ground up.
So let's just start with a thought experiment. Imagine a world where the complaint, "Hey, my room's air conditioning is broken," just stops happening. Not because your team gets better at fixing it, but because you solved the issue 3 weeks ago, long before that guest even made their reservation. That is the predictive future we're going to explore today.
Now, to really appreciate where we're going, we have to be honest about where most of the industry is right now. And for a lot of properties, that means being stuck in something I call the break-fix trap.
This break-fix mentality is pretty much the default setting for so many engineering departments. It's 100% reactive. You know the drill. A chiller unit gives out on the hottest day of summer. A guest calls down to the front desk, and only then does the team scramble into action. It's this exhausting cycle of just waiting for the next thing to go wrong.
This phrase right here, this sums it all up. Wait for a guest to complain, then send a technician. When you really stop and think about it, that's not just a maintenance policy, is it? It's a customer service strategy that basically uses your paying guests as your quality control department. And that's a flawed strategy.
And let me tell you, this reactive approach comes with some very real and very significant costs. Waiting for things to break isn't just inefficient, it's a losing strategy in the long run. Let's look at exactly why.
First, emergency repairs are always more expensive than planned maintenance. But honestly, the financial hit is just the start. Every single failure is a potential one-star review, chipping away at the reputation you've worked so hard to build. And then you've got this hidden danger of cascading failures. Think of it like dominoes. A small, cheap water pump starts to strain. That forces the entire HVAC system to work harder, which puts stress on the main chiller, which puts stress on the electrical system until the whole thing just collapses. A tiny problem quietly becomes a catastrophic and very expensive one.
This chart really lays out the choice that every modern hotelier is facing. On the left, you've got the old way: unpredictable costs, constant firefighting, and guest-facing problems. And on the right, you have the new model: predictable budgets, preventative action, and seamless operations. It really is a choice between managing crises and avoiding them altogether. So, the big question is, how do we get from the chaos on the left to the control on the right? Well, that brings us to the solution: the predictive maintenance shift. And this isn't just a small tweak, it's a completely new way of thinking about how a hotel runs. The answer isn't about having a faster technician with a bigger wrench, it's about having a better crystal ball. The whole strategy is built on foresight, using technology to see what's coming and acting before a failure ever has a chance to impact a guest.
And at the core of this strategy is an incredible piece of technology called a digital twin. The best way to think about it is as a living, breathing, virtual copy of your entire hotel. Every single critical asset, from the HVAC units on the roof to the elevator motors in the shaft, is mapped and monitored in real time, right on a screen.
Okay, so you have this amazing digital map, but how does it actually predict the future? This is where artificial intelligence, or AI, comes in and does the heavy lifting, turning all that raw data into genuine foresight.
The process is actually pretty straightforward when you break it down. First, we create that digital twin map of the hotel. Then, tiny little IoT sensors act like a nervous system, constantly sending back health updates from your equipment. And finally, the AI brain takes over. It analyzes all of that live data, compares it against years of historical performance, and looks for tiny clues that trouble is brewing.
Let's make this really concrete. Think about one of the most critical pieces of equipment in any hotel, the main boiler that provides all that hot water for your guests' morning showers.
The AI isn't waiting for the boiler to suddenly break down. No, it's looking for something called a pre-failure anomaly. This could be a tiny, almost invisible increase in how much energy it's using, or a subtle change in its vibration that no human would ever notice. To us, it's nothing, but to the AI, it's a massive red flag screaming, "Hey, something is about to go wrong here."
So the second that anomaly is detected, the system doesn't just send an alert. It automatically creates a preventative work order and sends it to a technician. And here's the magic part. The problem gets fixed quietly. On a Tuesday morning, weeks, maybe even months, before it would have resulted in a single guest complaining about a cold shower.
So what does this all add up to? What's the real payoff? Well, the benefits of having this kind of foresight are huge, both for the executives trying to run a profitable business and for the guests who define your brand's success.
The advantages are just enormous. You end up extending the life of your most expensive equipment, saving you a fortune in the long run. You completely prevent those dangerous cascading failures we talked about. And for management, your big-ticket budget for new equipment, your CapEx, it becomes predictable. No more million-dollar surprises. The end result for the guest? A property that feels consistently perfect, because behind the walls, it pretty much is.
And really, this is the most important point of all. This whole approach transforms your maintenance department. It stops being a simple cost center that just fixes broken stuff. It becomes a proactive, strategic asset that is fundamentally dedicated to guaranteeing a flawless and perfect guest experience every single time. So as you all move forward in your careers, this is the question you're going to have to answer. Are you going to be a manager who is constantly reacting to yesterday's problems, or are you going to be the kind of leader who uses foresight and technology to truly command the future of your property? The choice you make will define your success.